The intelligence community has sufficient confidence that I can stand before you today and say what I have said, which is that there is a distinct possibility that Vladimir Putin would order a military action, an invasion of Ukraine in this window, in this time period. And that could include the time period before February 20th, before the Beijing Olympics had been completed. And so they believe that everything I have just said is well grounded in both what they are seeing on the ground and what they are picking up through all of their various sources. Now, to your question about what type of action it would be, we've been clear that it could take a range of different forms, but I want to be equally clear that one of those forms is a rapid assault on the city of Kyiv. That is a possible line of attack, course of action that the Russian forces could choose to take. They could also choose to move in other parts of Ukraine as well. The last point that I would make, and I know this has been the subject of a fair amount of back and forth between the administration and the press over the course of the past week, we are firmly convinced that the Russians, should they decide to move forward with an invasion, are looking hard at the creation of a pretext, a false flag operation, something that they generate and try to blame on the Ukrainians as a trigger for military action. And we are calling that out publicly because we do believe that if Russia chooses to do that, they should be held to account. The world should not believe that a false flag operation that they conducted is a legitimate casus belli for going into Ukraine. Russian military action could begin any day now, and that remains true. It could begin any day now, and it could occur before the Olympics have ended. I'm not going to get into intelligence information, but if you look at the disposition of forces in both Belarus and in Russia on the other side of the Ukrainian border, from the north, from the east, the Russians are in a position to be able to mount a major military action in Ukraine any day now. And for that reason, we believe that it is important for us to communicate to our allies and partners, to the Ukrainians, and to the American citizens who are still there. If a Russian attack on Ukraine proceeds, it is likely to begin with aerial bombing and missile attacks that could obviously kill civilians without regard to their nationality. A subsequent ground invasion would involve the onslaught of a massive force.
Russian military drills that began today in Belarus involve 30,000 troops and are expected to take place over 10 days. Naval drills are also being conducted in the Black Sea. The exercises come as more than 100,000 Russian troops surround Ukraine and as crisis diplomacy continues in Moscow, Berlin, and Brussels.
With tanks, artillery, missiles capable of reaching all of Ukraine, and its most advanced jet, Russia's Belarus military exercises are the largest since the Cold War. It's a display of military might near the border with Ukraine and just a few hundred miles from the capital, Kyiv.
The Russian government, we think, is planning to stage a fake attack by Ukrainian military or intelligence forces against Russian sovereign territory or against Russian-speaking people to therefore justify their action. As part of this fake attack, we believe that Russia would produce a very graphic propaganda video, which would include corpses and actors that would be depicting mourners. And images of destroyed locations, as well as military equipment at the hands of Ukraine or the West, even to the point where some of this equipment would be made to look like it was Western-supplied Ukrainian, to Ukraine equipment.
Сегодня в МИД нашей страны был вызван посол Украины в Беларуси Игорь Кизим. Дипломату заявлен решительный протест в связи с целенаправленным запуском беспилотного летательного аппарата с Украины на территорию Беларуси. Беспилотник 24 января незаконно пересек государственную границу нашей страны, был зафиксирован в воздушном пространстве Беларуси и впоследствии принужден к посадке специалистами вооруженных сил.
На основе анализа данных бортовой аппаратуры доподлинно установлено, что беспилотник был запущен с территории Украины в целях проведения нелегальной разведывательной деятельности над военным полигоном Брестский. До украинской стороны доведено, что данными недружественными шагами она намеренно провоцирует эскалацию обстановки в регионе, что не способствует цивилизованному двустороннему диалогу. Белорусская сторона потребовала недопущения подобных деструктивных действий в дальнейшем.
Так будет война или нет? Да, она будет. Но только в двух случаях. Если против Беларуси будет совершена прямая агрессия. Если против нашей Беларуси будет развязана горячая война. И второй момент, когда быть в войне, и Беларусь будет в ней участвовать, если на нашего союзника, Российскую Федерацию, осуществлят непосредственное нападение, и такая же агрессия будет совершена против территории Российской Федерации.
Очень правильно все сделано президентом России, я это поддерживаю. Мы нарисовали красные линии. Наступил на красную линию, получай.
Получаешь что? Ракетный удар по территории Украины?
И не только. Все, что только есть.